Shapes. Good morning, guys. What's up? It's SJU. It's Monday. I'm joined by Eric Goldman, managing editor, Fandom Entertainment.
This is correct.
Ed Greer, managing editor of Mountain Dew. Dan Murrell, managing editor of My Heart.
Where's the hookup?
And I'm Joe Starr, if he was from the 70s and knew how to party. Danielle Radford is out sick today. Please send her some love on Twitter. A few things happened over the weekend. Disney announced some stuff. The mouse monolith came to play at D23. We're going to talk about those things very excitedly and pretend that we also don't constantly cover them as a negative monopoly. Guys, let's start with...
I refuse.
I like Disney.
But before that, good morning, Jill Botsett.
Oh.
You're the wife of one of our fans who just asked me to give you a shout out. Morning. I hope you have a fantastic Monday.
Hello, Jill.
Wow.
We're personalizing every episode from now on.
Every episode now.
Yep.
That's what
Just
you
wait
get.
in line.
That's what you get when 70s Joe that knows how to party hosts the show. That's the promise. Guys, let's start with Star Wars. The Mandalorian was not the only Star Wars property getting the spotlight over D23 weekend. A little thing called Episode 9 gave us some new and surprising looks. We didn't get a full trailer, but we got like kind of a cool, like, here's the mood, here's the feeling montage. We got a cool new poster. Yeah. Got them fighting on some wreckage.
Which is actually
background.
cool. I think this might be the first cool Star Wars poster in a minute.
Yeah, and there's cast shot.
How much tall? You can tell who's playing Chewie. Yes. Very obvious which one is Jonas Sloop.
Yeah, I'm not
going
to say that right.
I apologize.
I think so.
Yes, you can tell who's Chewie.
But yeah, I do dig this pose. This is the first like cool. Just we're trying to evoke a mood poster. I feel like, and not just like a here's all the characters kind of shot. So I did
That's
dig
coming,
that.
don't worry.
Oh yeah, that is 100% coming. I think we already got it, didn't we?
Well, they always do the stack of
Not
heads.
the all characters.
Yeah, not for
this
the
all hands.
Yeah, but we'll get it
soon.
Okay.
We'll get it soon.
I think at this point, I think I'm just starting to like make up my own reality as we cover things. I'm like, Pixar announced all of these movies like a week ago.
This is like WandaVision, but it's Joe Vision.
Yes, that is my life, Eric. Very accurate. So we got some cool teaser footage. Surprising moments included C-3PO and his weird red eyes. We got this cool party place. Party people. Look at, like, can't you just hear whoop, there it is, playing over that cool sound?
These images are so cool.
Yeah, they gave us some really cool mood stuff, some Resistance, a million Star Destroyers.
Well, right there, C-3PO activated instant kill.
And and I see people say, are those Star Destroyers classic Star Destroyers? Because there is different shape than the...
they may be.
So this might be Empire Star Destroyers, not First Order Star Destroyers.
They may be. I know that in the Chuck Wendig Aftermath books, we got a big look into, like, the Empire's actual, like, last plans after Jedi, so... If Palpatine is sitting on a planet somewhere with everything that was left from the Empire, that makes sense to me.
Also, people don't throw their lightsabers enough, so when Rey did that, that was really cool.
Yes, no, that was cool. There they are fighting on Unicron while he transforms.
I played the Force Unleashed, Eric, and I threw my lightsaber multiple times.
I'm saying cinematically. That's the thing, and I agree. I did it too, but in the movies...
Well, yeah, as a longtime disser of... Jedi action on screen, I approve. I've hated Jedi action on screen since Obi sacrificed himself in the worst duel in human history.
I think that the new trilogy has done a really good job crossing the distance between this is just cool choreography and this is all like emotionally fueled character stuff. I feel like they've done like a nice job sort of like paring down the middle. We also, speaking of ridiculous lightsaber stuff, Ed, that you may or may not be a fan of, we have Rey with a cool double switchblade-y lightsaber thing.
I just want to see her flip it around. Like, you know, anybody with a butterfly knife has to show you how to flip it around.
Yeah,
I just want to see
they do it too much.
Yeah,
I get it.
Like a George Clooney with the Zippo. It's like, come on, stop flipping this thing around.
Dan, thoughts? Dan, you're not thrilled.
No, it's not that I'm not thrilled. It's just
But they showed you a picture from Star Wars.
They did show me a lot of pictures,
and you're not thrilled.
They look cool.
Don't you like lightsabers?
Don't you like lightsabers, Dan?
Cool. I don't think that's the real Rey. I think, as everyone else and their brothers already said. So J.J. Abrams make cool looking things. And we know this.
Puzzle box look very neat.
Yes, we know these things. It looks very, very cool. And
Is this the McCarthy hearings? Like, you bullied Dan right before. No,
I just don't understand. It's D23, Dan.
I'm far more intrigued about what this movie is than what it looks like. I guess is what I'm saying.
I hear you. Although if they do make her a clone and just add a second vowel to her name, I'll be into that too.
I have a slight trepidation.
EU confirmed.
That 2 of the different shots in this trailer are they evil? It's just like, well, okay, but whatever. Let's see.
With C-3PO, they've already said he's a spy. So I have a feeling that's a throwaway gag where he's like, no one will know it's me. Like, I have a feeling that's just sort of a throwaway gag because people were saying that it was 000.
000.
Which, nah.
I can tell you, I know that our 000 page at fandom.com and our wikis and Wikipedia has been spiking the hell since that Red Eyes.
Powered by Fandom.
Interesting.
Yes, that's right. Powered by Fandom.
Eric Goldman.
Yeah.
You were in the room.
I was in the room.
You were among the people. You
Yes.
smelled the sweat. You felt the love.
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened?
Guess what? It went over really, really well. Yeah, people
At
were
D23?
enthusiastic about that Star Wars footage.
Okay.
People went crazy for it. Lots of hoot and hollering. I do, of course. Yes, it's like they're not just going to give away in this footage. And by the way, Ray turns evil at the end.
Right.
The more we learn, the more we're not learning a lot, but the more we see, the more I think we're going to get like Palpatine as some sort of evil Force ghost that we've never seen. I even think that if those are classic Star Destroyers, it's all going to be sort of like, yes, he'll have a presence in this movie, like trying to influence her, but it's all going to be like dark visions and things he's showing her.
Interesting.
It just seems like, look, he's looming over them. It's like you hear Vader breathing in that footage too. I just think it's going to be, because they know this is the end, they're going to do that thing of like, yes, we're going to get a lot of evoking of the past. I still think Mr. Hayden Christensen is probably going to have a cameo in this movie, because I think we're going to get a lot of like stuff like through the Force. We will see, but they're not all going to come back, and they're not all going to, she's not going to turn evil either. But yeah, I think we're just going to feel this Palpatine trying to influence her from beyond.
That would be a weird flex from Disney.
Is there anyone
though.
that doesn't remember that? Do we need to be constantly reminded of the double sunsets on Tatooine and the first part of the trailer? I'm just like, I remember the AT-ATs or AT-ATs, depending on what camp you subscribe to, on Hoth, and I
don't think you know that it's like poetry and it rhymes.
Oh, dude, also, I just wish more movies had this many movies.
But I was told it doesn't rhyme anymore. That's my problem.
It's like a slant rhyme
I think they're gonna try to have their cake and eat it too. Yeah, I do agree. It's like they're in a weird place, right? Because it was like Last Jedi, whatever you think of it, was trying to be like, let's break away from the paradigm of everything. Even just the fact that Last Jedi took you through like echoes of Empire and Jedi seemed to be like, okay, so now we don't have to do that in the next one. Well, this one looks like they're doing a lot of that. But I do think, again, even the speculation we've already had about is Skywalker like the new name for Force powerful people because they have to start something new. There's gonna be a lot of nostalgia in this movie, of course, but I think they're also gonna try to be like, but look how we're going to the future in a new, bright, fun way.
Yeah. Over under on the Yub Nub song.
Under. I'm rooting for under all the way under. But
okay.
But I
Hot
would
take, but cool.
Yeah, no, I was what I was gonna say is I just wish more movies had this many movies, because them pulling the Sons of Tatooine, the Death Star, this, that, and the other, just do Jaws that way. Focus in on the shark exploding, the zoom with Brody. Then you go to the electrical thing that they put in the shark's mouth in the second one. Then he's blowing up in 3D. They're pulling the grenade in 3D, and then the thing's going through his Ursulaing him. You know what I mean? And the last one,
and then
do that.
Then there's that weird moment where you're just here like, dun,
yeah, and then throw in the Jaws 19 marquee just to have
boom. Yeah,
something else.
Exactly. So all the me personally, I'm gonna be a jerk. The Force nostalgia and the trying to make these new movies the same resonance as the old ones, just because they're supposedly the same thing. I was just like, it was like when you showed us The Simpsons shooting
Bart with the
Bart trying to fakely shoot something to protest Captain Marvel or something.
It was Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell to shoot Tinkerbell. It's like
slingshot at
oh god,
yeah.
it just rang really false to me as far as like trying to but they're trying to tie it all together. They're selling their product. I'm not hating on that.
Look, I'm not going to miss a house payment just because you guys are down on Disney. I love everything Disney makes.
I'm not down on anything. Not jumping out of my seat doesn't mean I'm down on it, Joe.
But
Damn it.
Well, 7,000 of us were jumping out of our seat at D23.
prove to me you're not a Disney communist. Prove it. You know what I mean? So like, I've already pledged my allegiance to Sony. I already hail Sony'd with a bunch of dudes in black robes, so they know where my allegiance is. Like,
Did you now, or have you ever given a mixed review to The Last Jedi?
I heard you.
You cannot leave this chamber, sir.
I heard you discussed it as something other than scripture. You know, it's like, ugh.
Look, I might have signed up for 3 years of Disney Plus this weekend because I could.
I get it.
It was a very good deal. It's less than $4 a month.
Well,
Nice.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Is like I'm very anxious to subscribe to Disney Plus because there's a lot of things on there that I want to check out.
Yeah.
But it's this thing of just like not being able to have a middle ground that just like is very like
Yeah. No, I agree. There was people that were saying that like there's that meme going around and it was like a funeral and they're carrying a coffin and it's like they're carrying Netflix's coffin and it's like all the Disney is like Fox and Disney and Pixar logo and I'm like, look, I have my criticisms of Pixar. I'm sorry, I keep saying Pixar and Netflix interchangeably. Of Netflix, but I don't want Netflix to go under. Like I want them to make good product that I enjoy. So it is this weird thing. You don't have to choose a side in these things.
Also, what's up with these freaking plebes rooting for these feudal lords?
No, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I know. I need this feudal lord to rule me with an iron fist to keep. His
I
boot
will
on my
cosplay as Bob Iger this year.
neck. That's disgusting, frankly. It's frankly disgusting. Choose that because that's why I said that the stupid thing I said about I joined the Sony gang. I didn't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Sony gang.
It's impossible.
Sony gang.
You know what I mean? Like they have to invite you in. So if you haven't been invited into one of these gangs, why are you rooting for their success or failure or any of that? That's so beyond our pay grade. It's above us now.
Yeah.
As the meme says. You know what I mean?
I'm just texting them out.
I would love that the people who were like,
We're done with Ed.
boycott Sony over the Spider-Man thing, if they literally started like throwing out their Sony TVs, and, I don't need it,
I'm gonna get a Bravia.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute, I think that is Sony.
Yeah.
But
I'm like Simon Pegg at the end of the world's end. I just wander the barren wasteland, put my head into whatever bar will have me, and then wait for them to discover me and kick me out.
I'm disappointed in myself a little bit this weekend because I feel like I'm just as loud as you guys sometimes when it's like they showed us 2 shots at things. I don't know. I don't know how to necessarily be like, yeah, like
It looks cool. I'm excited to see the movie, but I'm not.
But I'll say this where I'm like, oh, come on, Joe, you're better than that. I thought when they showed the 2 sons, I was like, oh, those 2 sons. Like, sometimes I can't help
felt
it.
emotions watching that.
Sometimes I can't help it.
I went gaga over in game, which was 60% going like, if you do it well, then it's fine.
I loved it 4,000.
I just don't know how many exactly. I just don't know how many Star Wars videos I've
should be a
seen
shirt.
that are just like whatever editor's like open on the setting suns of Tatooine. Like, yes, I know. I've seen that. Every montage of Star Wars I've seen opens on the setting suns of Tatooine.
well, somebody should cut together just the opposite one, where it's just like people drinking blue milk and sand people going like this, Tusken Raiders doing this.
I want to see the one that's. I want to see one that opens on.
Show me the montage.
I was gonna say it was all Gungan footage, playing that music.
Remember that?
Honestly, if you guys make those, we will retweet them.
Yes.
Like, do the most emotional points of the score with the most ridiculous
With
moments.
Jar Jar stepping in shit.
Yeah. I will.
Yes.
Retweet every one of those.
Yes.
I will say
Jar Jar getting a creature farting in Jar Jar's face. Emotional music.
Yes.
you give us those, I will say good morning to your spouses for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see those. Yeah, I just want to see one that opens on like the ruined moon of Endor after the wreckage of the Death Star falls on it. Just a bunch of Ewoks like, why? Guys, we're Fandom Entertainment. Like and subscribe.
I'm sure people are loving our Star Wars discussion.
And make sure you include the Luke Leia kiss. You have to.
100%. Here's the things with Star Wars discussion too is I don't like the let's analyze. I'm much more in the don't show me too much and I just want to see the movie camp. So I have a hard time with like doing like early coverage of stuff like this.
To be fair, I'm like Dante from Clerks. I'm literally not supposed to be here today.
That's very true.
And
You're supposed to be making charts right now. Guys, stay tuned for Returning with Dan later today, which I'm so sorry that I've stressed you out.
No, it's not stress. I'm worried that I'm stressing the audience out. I'm actually in my comfort zone right now. I'm worried that I'm stressing everyone else.
I get it. Guys, we're Fandom Entertainment. We hope we're not stressing you out. Hit the bell, like and subscribe. Thank you, Ryan. Make sure last Friday afternoon we did a bonus SGU as Dan, Ed, and myself hitting all the Disney Plus panel information. So
Instant react sort of thing.
And
I was super excited about that Star Wars.
Yeah, you were super into The Mandalorian. Yeah. I'm super into the very bleak Lizzie McGuire. I think that sounds so terrifying.
Yeah, Lizzie McGuire as Jack from Fight Club.
Yeah, right. It's pretty much what it is. That and this encore thing with reuniting your high school musical cast, like that has to be a weird government experiment. Like that is a weird psychological thing, which I will also watch. Yeah, because it sounds insane. We talked Spider-Man a few minutes ago, and I wouldn't allow the segue to happen naturally, so now I'm just going to get in there, guys. Feige and Holland indicated that the MCU Spider-Man split is a dumb deal. A dumb deal and a done deal.
Freudian.
This is via ew. Well, Kevin Feige was at D23 Expo for the Marvel Studios content coming to Disney Plus and to tout upcoming MCU films. Tom Holland was also there for his voice role in the next Pixar film, Onward, which he stars in with Chris Pratt. So before leaving the stage, Holland told the audience, "Listen, guys, it's been a crazy week, but I want you to know that I'm grateful from the bottom of my heart. I love you 3000, which...
Guess what the audience did?
What'd they do?
There was a lot
completely forgot how mad they were about the whole thing. Right? Yeah.
Well, they just were like very emotional. I mean, I actually think Holland and Pratt got kind of like the biggest like rock star cheers amongst all the people this weekend. Like,
really?
But I think it was mostly Holland. Like there was a lot of emotion being felt.
Selma Hayek was there.
I know.
She's like the first lady of Hollywood.
Well,
yeah.
Put some respect in
Selma's
name.
She's
Disney
not Spider-Man,
fans.
unfortunately.
That's fair. But if she was.
Right.
But if she was. So Holland told EW, basically, we've made 5 great movies. It's been 5 amazing years. I've had the time of my life. Who knows what the future holds, but all I know is that I'm going to continue playing Spider-Man and having the time of my life. It's going to be so fun. However we choose to do it, the future for Spider-Man will be different, but it will be equally as awesome and amazing, and we'll find new ways to make it even cooler.
He's gotten so good at this.
He's gotten really good at this. I half expected him to screw up and just be like, Venom's in the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Son of a... Just to completely spoil it. Feige said, "I'm feeling about Spider-Man gratitude and joy. We got to make 5 films within the MCU and Spider-Man, 2 standalone films, and 3 with the Avengers. It was a dream that I never thought would happen. It was never meant to last forever. We knew there was a finite amount of time that we'd be able to do this, and we told the story we wanted to tell, and I'll always be thankful for that." Whew, this was a good oh, man, Disney was looking bad coming out of this last week, and... This was a well-produced piece of, we're the good guys.
They just knew they had to confront it this weekend, right? So it's like, all right, what are we saying? What are we saying?
Yeah. If you're Disney and you're negotiating in public, as I believe that they're doing, of course you have to send Spider-Man and Spider-Man producer to go out and say that it's over, because then now in the public's eyes, now Disney has put a bow on it, I think, and they're like, okay, well now Sony, the ball's in your court. Disney said it's a done deal, but we want this, so what are you gonna do? It's like Moulin Rouge, that Roxanne scene where they're just like describing the tango. It's like watching this happen in real time.
See, I think I'm more of the mind that it really is at the moment.
Sorry, that took like a minute.
Not enough Moulin Rouge references on this.
There were not.
I wanted to go with a very accessible and easy.
Oh, dude.
I think you found it.
Honestly, I'm more of the mind that it really is done right now. Because again, anything could happen, and again, maybe it will take just. And when I say right now, it could be like a week from now. They go, okay, let's go talk again. I think they went into this convention. It was terrible timing for them because there was like, oh man, like we have Feige and Holland going to this giant convention. Of course, it was through EW, who's kind of like a filter for like no one else got to talk to them. Guess what? They didn't do the press line. It was like this is like the one outlet we're gonna give quotes to. So I think right now it is done, but I also think that that could change in a month. After they could simmer down and they could turn around and go back talk to each other.
And also, given the nature of all how much money is involved, they have to. I want to read that weird draft with Spider-Man and Venom and Carnage and Silver Sable and some damn body else that they're working on right now to be like, all right, this is what we got to do if they don't put us back where you belong. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that draft because somebody's working on that right now. Somebody's been for months working on that.
That's the in case emergency glass break draft.
Yep. And, you know, so it's just, I want to see that. But obviously, I think this is me and Billy Business talked about it on our adjunct podcast, Commute Killers. We did our instant react. And we just what Dan said, public negotiation, James Gunn situation. You say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. And then you do. Yeah, and then you do something different later when cooler heads prevail. It's a classic poor people. They have to posture right now. This is the posturing phase.
I just, after last week when Disney rarely plays a card publicly where people go, wait a minute, you're a large bad company maybe. And I feel like last week was really like the closest we've come to like the terms of the deal going public and people being like, oh wow, they're really trying to like old-fashioned river strangle Sony here. That's when like there's like a little bit of a creak or something like that. You just say,
I've seen the curse while you wrote.
This is a Star family tradition.
I've seen Glass.
What is dead may never die.
This video, I was laughing through this whole video, just the very tasteful white set, and with them just very, maybe we're breaking up, but what a great relationship we had, and what a good run, and like, I love you 3000 and all the hits, and I was just like,
dude, pretending this is some sort of conscious uncoupling is hilarious. It's the best acting Tom Holland has ever done. Oh yeah, because this is obviously a corporate riff. But I do think that there is an interesting timeline where this is the end, and they have to actually do what I've always thought they need to do with Spider-Man, certain other lower power tier characters, put them in their own world where they're the most interesting thing. You know what I mean? When there's dudes flying around on their hammers, the hammer yanks you off. There's all these people flying around on hammers, all these people with capes, all these people with armor, all this jazz, and he's just swinging around on his ropes and stuff and trying to go to high school.
Yeah,
that don't really mesh as much as we think in our head canon.
Creatively, that's where I'm at too. I think creatively there's a lot of interesting opportunities to like reset Spider-Man as the underdog that's just in tights and doesn't have 17 different armors. It's all about the execution now. Like, can Sony actually like pull it off? Do they expand Lord and Miller's deal from just TV to also shepherding this film? I'm assuming they will.
I mean, also, because of the cliffhanger of Far From Home, which, no matter what, I think will be resolved. I've seen people go, we'll never get resolution on the cliffhanger. The third Spider-Man movie will have resolution. It's just can he call his buddies for help in the MCU or not? That's the only question.
Which, if he can, it's empirically worse movie to me. I mean, to everybody's fan service, obviously, seeing Rhodey show up being like, what's Rhodey's going to fight S.H.I.E.L.D. when they're trying to bring the kid in or something? What? I don't get that story. But if it's a genius teenager against the world, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I want to see that so bad.
I mean, Far From Home has been out long enough and made enough money that we can talk openly about the ending, right? I think so, right? You've all seen
spoiler alert.
So spoiler alert for Far From Home. But yeah, it's like I was talking on Twitter about this. Someone's like, well, what about the Stark tech? I'm like, yes, that's probably the biggest thing they have to deal with. But the end of that movie does give them the opening because this is too trackable. I can't wear this high-tech suit. And he doesn't have to say the name of who he got that suit from. And then he has to change to, guess what, like a suit just made out of cloth. And, and then he's like more a classic Spider-Man. So yeah, the cliffhanger on one hand, you could bemoan like, oh no, they could have done great stuff with the MCU. Maybe they could have. But it also gives him a pretty good opening to have that split off happen if he's just on the run and he can't call for help and he can't use the tech.
And he's not going to always be crawling up the wall behind super powerful people.
Right.
It's more about because the ending of Far From Home, the climax, he's kicking ass like Spider-Man for like the first time I've ever seen the exact Spider-Man kicking ass, like maybe since Civil War. That unorthodox. He's like one of the best rough and tumble fighters in the Marvel Universe because only he can fight like that. I'm going to do a move that requires me to be twice as fast as a bullet and jump 40 feet and bounce off this thing. Nobody can fight like that. Only he can. So like him against the whole world, it's so sick. It's the Spider-Man movie I've been wanting my whole life since he beat up the X-Men in Secret Wars. Yes. I've been rooting for Spider-Man against everybody so that people can know when it really comes down to it, Spider-Man whoops everybody's ass. Make no mistake. So I would love it to be in the Marvel universe to have Marvel jerks coming after him and he whoops their ass. But I would love for him to be sort of Hulk style against the whole world. I would love both of those.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that's funny at D23, by the way, is I saw a lot of people saying, isn't it awkward seeing the Spider-Man stuff around? Because you walk in and they did have a giant banner with Brie Larson as Captain Marvel flanked by, trying to remember, was it Panther or Iron Man? It was someone else masked, and then it was MCU Spider-Man. It was, Holland Spider-Man. But I was like, well, that's a little awkward if he doesn't come back. But everything else, again, Marvel and Disney do own this character and make a lot of money off him no matter what. Yeah. So there's
going to be cartoons.
There's still going to be cartoons. They announced more details on the theme park ride at California Adventure. It's like they still are going. Spider-Man will always be a big deal to Disney, and even if they don't control the movie rights. Yeah. So I think people are like, oh, now they're never going to mention him again, or now they're not going to talk about him. No. Guess what? Every action figure sold, they make money off of it, and they're still going to talk about him all the time.
Right. They're still going to be bumping him through.
Yeah.
Dan, feelings? Emotions, reactions.
I still think that these movies get substantially weirder and maybe not as good. One of the things I loved the most about Far From Home, I agree, Ed. I love that Spider-Man, the action with him was great, and I love seeing like this him against this huge threat. But also, I loved how they integrated and wove in the backstory of Mysterio with Stark, so to throw all of that out the window just seems weird to me. So. We'll see.
It's going to be weird and awkward, I think, if the split happens, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Be a little weird.
But a new relationship always
Plus,
is.
can they even reference the fact that they all disappeared for 5 years anymore?
Yeah. No.
It's just there's so many intrinsic things.
Will it be like that thing happen after that thing?
It's interesting though because there's like a weird balance that I feel like comic books and then as an extension comic book movies have to hit, where these horrific things are happening all the time, and it's this weird balance of like how much weight do we continue to give them versus how do we keep our story moving forward, because like I've had tiny traumatic things happen to me, and things like nothing little things on the scale of a snap happened, and sometimes they still get in my head and I'm like I can't, like, the level of like trauma that happens to an Avenger on a daily basis. It's like, yeah, that stuff should like set them up to be wrecked forever. But like, how long do we camp on it? And versus like, we're not going to mention it anymore. Like, sometimes I do get frustrated because to your point, sometimes I do get frustrated with comics because I'm like, did none of that mean anything?
Well, it's the Scully effect. It's like, you saw a spaceship, and now you're being a skeptic in the next episode. You don't believe there's a guy in the sewers, but we just saw a spaceship. What the hell?
Yeah.
When do you get credulous? When does
and it's really hard with a character like Spider-Man who appears in like 4 monthly books and 2 team books. It's just like, and so, major things are happening all the time, but only some of which, like you said, some of them he'll refer to again all the time, and some of them it's like, that happened.
Yeah, it's weird, like, because I do agree with you. It's like, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And I find myself getting frustrated sometimes with stories like this, again, sort of doing the Scully effect, and like not referencing and not really actually letting those things truly impact and evolve characters. But also, I don't know. You also got to move him forward because at some point he's got to fight a lizard man.
Yeah.
You mentioned Tony Stark. Tony Stark, not the only Stark in Marvel anymore. We had a Stark brother reunion for the Eternals. This is via Kevin Feige himself.
Ooh,
he did.
D23. So during the Walt Disney Studios panel, Kevin Feige confirmed that Gemma Chan was in Eternals. She's playing Cersei, who is Danielle Radford's favorite Avenger. I apologize, Danielle, that we are talking about Cersei on the air and that you're not here. I hope you're feeling better. Let's see here. Let's go through this cast. Well, we'll get to the cast in a second. The big thing, Kit Harington, who last week they mentioned had signed on to be in the MCU. A lot of people were saying Wolverine. I was saying Reed Richards. Who were you saying?
I was just saying too early for Wolverine.
Way too early. I just thought it was also too young. Too young. Wolverine is supposed to look like a grizzled old man that's at a VFW hall, like not Kit Harington.
Yeah. Well, if you think they're about to do the DC thing of starting their universe with an old man, you got another thing coming.
It just bothers me. It just bothers. Wolverine should look like he's had all the whiskey Like, that's just what I know. He drinks beer, but the visual I'm going for.
They're gonna pick somebody Tom Holland's age and then CG age him, and put some CG hair all over his arms and back.
And he can play the part for 40 years, and eventually they can stop aging him. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, if you took Jon Snow and then aged him in the sun for like 10 years and only fed him beer and then put him on camera, maybe.
Oh, you ever aged Captain America?
Yeah,
they did.
Yep.
They did.
You ever seen that credit on movies where it says dryer ager? They'll just do that with a person.
Yes.
Instead of just the leather goods.
It's like how you launder money, or how you age a jacket.
Yeah.
By running it over with your car.
Money laundering is not actually cleaning money.
Wait a second.
Explain.
It's a whole thing.
A lot changed for Joe that day.
I gotta make a call because I think that maybe the feds are onto us.
So we arrested him. He put $5,000 in the washer. It's a federal crime.
Worse, it was our apartment shared washer.
Yes. It's huge bets.
The bad thing is I'm already spending the money I'm supposed to be laundering because I got to use it for quarters for that laundry.
Exactly.
It's a huge
Not
mess.
a sustainable business model.
All that to say, Kit Harington is playing Dane Whitman, which I did not see coming.
Yeah.
Dane Whitman is a longtime Avenger known as the Black Knight. So, a little history there. The original Black Knight is... I actually kind of wish they'd made this movie. The original Black Knight was called Sir Percy of Scandia. He was a 6th century knight who was in King Arthur's court. He was like a weird little old school Dark Ages superhero because he still had the dual identity. He played sort of like a clumsy Clark Kent by day, but once he used the ebony blade that was given to him by Merlin, he became the Black Knight, who was a super badass. Dane is his descendant. So still with the ebony blade, still in the comics, I think pals around with Merlin sometimes. Kinda, yeah.
When he pals around with a wizard and he holds a sword.
Yeah,
but then there was also
holds aloft his magic sword.
Big storyline about the sword being cursed and like that was messing with him.
Yeah. There was they did a comic called, this is the costume I'm hoping for, because they did a comic, what was it? It was Pete Wisdom and Pete Wisdom and Excalibur or something like that, I think. And it was he had the Black Knight helmet and the cape and the sword, but then just wore a black t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah, see,
which is that's the costume I'm hoping they go for.
I forgot to send to JT that my favorite Black Knight look was in the 90s when almost every Avenger, with a couple exceptions, was wearing those bomber jackets,
like Cersei,
including Cersei. And so Black Knight was wearing his chainmail, but without the cape, but the bomber jacket, but still his knight's helmet,
which was a look.
The
90s love jackets.
And so they just cast 2 of the bomber jacket Avengers, and I want bomber jacket Avengers to be a movie with that title. And we're getting there, guys. We're getting so close.
I feel like we're close.
I want Letterman jacket Marvel with the Beast.
It was pretty much that. Or they had the A on the bomber jacket.
Or what if for the MCU they just go meta and everyone wears the baseball cap of their character's logo?
The Feige hat.
Yeah, the Feige hat of their character's logo. I think that would be cool. Like Mahershala Ali's actually just running around in his movie with a blade cap. I'm into that. JT, I think you had it up for a second, but they did show concept art of the Eternals in their uniforms. Which was really cool. I'm just also super excited to see Kumail Nanjiani in a comic book movie.
That's
Again,
amazing.
I know so little about the Eternals. So I know there are probably fans who saw this concept art and they're like, yes, finally. I'm more excited about like the cast. Like that's sort of what's pulling me in on this one. It's an interesting ensemble to me because lore-wise, like they don't necessarily get me pumped.
It's
because I'm a weak bad fan.
But no, you're not a bad fan because Eternals are a pretty big part of Marvel. It's like, they've had a few notable miniseries, but not like a long run. I mean, honestly, Inhumans, which it certainly feels like this is kind of taking their place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know there was the TV show. Inhumans have way deeper history to pull from the comics, but I think maybe that is the appealing thing if you're Feige at this point with Eternals is we can kind of do anything, and there's so few fans who are going to be mad. I mean, they've gender swapped like half the team, and guess what? Most people aren't complaining because they don't care enough to know they should complain. They shouldn't complain. I don't want them to complain, but it's that thing. It's like the more the more they know the character, the more like they change something.
Yeah, there's just not enough people who are like, you did what to Ajax?
Right, Ajax.
Frankly, from Twitter, too many of them are mad that they made Hulk a girl.
That is recent. She's a character that was made 2 months ago.
She wasn't made by Stan Lee and John Buscema in the 70s.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Dan,
Dummies.
Yeah.
is Kit Harington playing another Brooding Knight typecasting?
I don't think so.
Do you think he's mad about it?
I mean, if he runs around like they try to give him the power sword and he's like, I don't want it. Then yeah,
He used the same
yes,
accent.
that is typecasting. Yeah, I saw him on SNL. He can do some different
Hey,
stuff.
Black Knight didn't even pet his wolf. What the hell is wrong with Black Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah, personally, I think it's interesting. I don't know. Everybody says what they would have done. I'm not trying to be that, but like, I think it would have been interesting for I think they're going to show the Eternals running into the 6th century knight because they're so old. And then this new version of them running into them again, being like, I haven't met you, but ancestrally, sort of phantom way, I have, and we have some sort of history. I think that character is a way to show their age, their agelessness.
I'm assuming he's going to be like our audience surrogate.
It's gotta be,
into
right?
this weird
Yeah.
thing.
Probably.
And they said Dane Whitman, so he won't be the Black Knight yet. I kind of like what you're saying because it's like he could find out A, that the Eternals exist, B, that his ancestor was this knight. It's all tied together.
The Ebony Blade will probably be retconned a little bit to be an eternal thing.
Created
maybe.
object. Yeah.
Like a
Guys,
shard.
we did it.
Yeah, fixed it.
A shard of eternal technology fell down,
Yeah.
and then Merlin was like, "Oh, look at this! It's impenetrable.
Which
Here's a
means-
blade."
There's a decent chance that we get Merlin and King Arthur
Stanley Tucci?
in a Marvel, and it is Stanley Tucci again in a Marvel
Reprising his
movie.
greatest role from his greatest movie?
I'm pretty excited.
The Tooch is loose.
Tucci is
And don't
loose.
say they can't reuse him because Gemma Chan is playing her second MCU character. So
Yeah,
why not
yeah.
Tucci?
She was in Captain Marvel,
Minerva, yeah.
and now she's Cersei, who, from what I remember, Cersei's main power is that she's just real thirsty. That's what I remember.
All of the
from
eternal
Cersei.
powers are weird because I think it's correct me if I'm wrong, internet. I know you will, but it seems like it was Jack Kirby's attempt. I think his first attempt to do the New Gods thing, or maybe it's his version of New Gods in Marvel. Correct me on the timing of it, but it's like, well, this is my idea for this cosmic family, with this different sort of world for us to root through. Plus, they had a tie to the actual Marvel Universe proper, like their history influenced the Marvel Universe proper.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting for them to get into deep lore like that. But again, last time they tried to do some Kirby stuff, we got Ragnarok. So there you
Which
go.
is my favorite.
That's
so
awesome.
I don't hate
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay,
the
that's
comics in the comics there are the Eternals of Earth and there's the Eternals of Titan, of which Thanos is one of. So we can see how much they want to, even though I don't think they're going to resurrect Thanos. It's like now that we live in an amazing world where everyone knows who Thanos is, which is something I never thought I could say. It's like they could bring in that too. They could connect all that, and because yes, this is Eternals is like I think as we were saying, it's like this is going to be even more than Guardians of the Galaxy. Even comic fans don't know much about the Eternals. So it's like a real blank slate for a lot of people. But I actually think that's exciting, especially when you're this many years into the franchise. Because, and again, they, as you said,
Well, it's like Game of Thrones book readers like running out of book with the show. Like suddenly, I don't know what's going to happen next week because we're past the Red Wedding and what's going on.
Yeah, and I think it, hopefully with a better ending. Well, there'll never be an ending in the MCU. We'll die. It'll go on. But yeah, I think there's a lot of exciting possibilities there. And plus, who knows? Like, I feel like the Eternals could be a way to set up mutants. There's a lot of ways if you wanted to get into all that.
Yeah, because they've been millennia long tamperers with our genome as a species.
Okay.
You know what I mean? High evolutionary is mixed in there a little bit. So there's a lot of stuff going on with their influence over Earth and its populace for millennia. So there's a lot of story there. I just it's a lot of lore. It's a lot of lore that's really obscure, and I'd love for them to do this because, as I've always said, they have so much IP, and I want to use the intellectual property. They have so many properties that throw it spaghetti. Let's get spaghetti. Throw it up against the wall. See if
I
it's
don't
done.
remember the Marvel character spaghetti.
Oh, well,
I just realized that for the MCU Honest trailer, I wish Kevin Feige's starring name had been Ip Man. Anyway, because IP. Dan, who's your favorite Eternal?
I don't know because I don't know anything about the Eternals.
You and me, buddy.
Well, no, I kind of actively avoided them because I just
Eternal hater.
Icarus. There's a guy named. There was a guy.
That's
I used to
Madden's
call
character.
him. I used to call him Icarus because I didn't know about the legend
My
of
neighbor's
Icarus
dog's
yet.
name. Happy International Dog Day, everybody.
They were just so powerful for no reason. And when you start reading their Marvel Universe entries, it's so hard to make a story out of these guys because they're super long lived, and the only way to kill kill them is to displace a major portion of their molecules. Okay. So
I already stopped listening to you.
You have to have to disperse somebody's molecules to kill them means they're essentially unkillable. So where is the drama? They can only harm each other. They're like Wakandans. They got to fight amongst each other because everybody else is
Molecule
weak.
Disperser shows up.
The ultimate molecule disperser.
Yeah, my favorite MCU villain, Molecule Disperser. Then they are absolutely screwed. Guys, we also got some Black Widow and Black Panther updates. Also, we're eventually in an Avengers movie going to have Black Knight and Black Panther standing next to each other, and Rocket's going to point at them both and be like, I don't get it.
And also Black Widow. And also the ghost of Black Widow, like a forced ghost of Black Widow.
Will be there as Black Widow.
Head scissoring somebody in the afterlife.
So Coogler officially announced the Black Panther sequel. It's being released May 6, 2022. If the world lasts that long, you guys. No other information was revealed. There was no title. Basically, Cougars completed its treatment. They showed a logo. It's going to happen. I don't need a special title. I think Black Panther 2 is fine.
But it's not going to be. They said it won't be Black Panther 2 even though they showed that logo.
Yeah,
So.
it'll be the return of the Claude Monger.
It'd be called Black Panther. We made a new deal with Sony.
Yeah.
Dude, if they say the Snap somehow resurrected Killmonger or something, that's gonna be weird. Like, oh, there was an extra person revived on the banner Snap. There's an extra person brought back.
We'll get like robotic Killmonger. He'll have like the Darth Maul robot legs.
I like it.
So the Black Panther sequel opening 4 years or not? Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah.
Am I reading this? It's just opening more than 4 years. Not set.
4
Okay.
years and a handful of months after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
Good.
it. Yeah, take some
We
time,
saw,
make a movie.
We saw, and while I don't hate it as much as everyone else does, but I agree that it is one of the lesser Marvel movies. But we saw what happened with Iron Man 2. When I feel like they just felt a bit of
Cranked
pressure
into
to
it.
just crank out another one in 2 years because they had to move things along. And I'm glad that Ryan Coogler's coming back. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's great
I think
news.
it would have been a different feel without him. And I'm sure he'll probably bring back much of the same creative team. And B, I'm glad that they're giving what appears to be an adequate amount of time for him to work. I mean, if he's working on the movie now, that means he's going to have at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years before they have to go into active production as far as shooting. That means he's giving him enough time to develop it, come up to write the script, come up with something he's excited about. So I'm glad. That's how sequels should work. You should release a movie that's a big hit, and then eventually, if they have a good idea and along the timeline that allows an idea to be developed, a sequel should come out.
Yeah.
Not we have released a movie and we've already planned 8 more sequels to it, because what if the first one's not good?
Well,
I was going to say, on a business level, I do think, usually I think you have to get your sequel out within 3 years if you want to like strike where the lightning is hot. And I think there was cases like Star Trek or even Hellboy or things where it just felt like, why are you taking this feels like you lost your moment. Like
Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2, yeah. No, I think they did okay on that one. But the MCU is such an outlier for everything because we've seen Black Panther twice since that movie, And guess what? I'd bet anything, if not him, Shuri will show up in one of these movies or TV shows or someone significant that will be a part of that world. So that's the thing. That's where the MCU has this benefit that other franchises don't. Yeah, it's going to be 4 years between the movie, which seems strange these days for like a huge hit like Black Panther. But people are not going to forget about Black Panther and his world because the MCU will keep going.
And I do think, to both of y'all's points, they have so much going on that I'm hoping that does lead to more like creative flexibility for folks. Because I mean, there's 15 TV shows to get through between now and then, and a Black Widow movie. So they showed the same footage that they showed mostly at San Diego Comic-Con. There were a few additions. We got to look at David Harbour as Red Guardian. There he is, looking all disheveled.
Yeah.
Just because he has a beard.
Well, it's like he's like
he was very disheveled.
He's kind of like it's like seems like it's like he's past his prime. It's like he used to be the Russian Captain America. Now he's still suiting up.
He's old man Guardian. So they also showed Natasha in an all-white uniform, so I'm really glad they're taking some story beats from Legends of Tomorrow.
Look at that beautifully taken photograph. Only the best photographer.
My God.
done that.
Professional photography.
That made sending you there for the whole weekend completely worth it.
Look at that. Look at that.
That shot is way too accurate to be from a stormtrooper.
No normal fan.
And I don't want to sound like some super douche for being a little bit more excited for Black Widow. Black Panther, obviously, we're going to have to wait so long. And the only flaw I ever saw in Black Panther, in my personal opinion, was like some of the stunt team stuff and giving them 4 years to get the stunt team situation, the CGI for the fighting, and so the climactic thing doesn't look like a PlayStation game. Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? For them to get that together, that's ultimate respect for the fact that the screenplay was awesome. And those who are hating on that screenplay, you're just dumb. I'm sorry. I can't. If you hate that screenplay, you hate King Lear, you hate a lot of things that have worked throughout history as far as storytelling structure. So sorry.
Spoilers
sorry for you. Yeah. Sorry for you. But I do understand those people who are like, when they start fighting, it's a little Matrix game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I agree with those people. So giving them 4 years head start, but boy, Black Widow has Taskmaster in it, dude. This is not a drill.
He was standing in a tank as it was moving with a bow and arrow.
You guys have 1 minute to just freak out as much as you want.
I'm sorry, people. I think a lot of fandom, both capital F and small f, are freaking out over Taskmaster.
No, and I think even it's funny because yes, you can even speculate via the fact that he's using a bow and arrow. It's like, oh, Natasha and Clint probably encountered him before, and now he can mimic Clint's abilities.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think.
And his shield throwing ability, which is going to eventually come out, most likely.
Yeah, he's using the shield in the footage when she's fighting him. So yeah.
Oh, and as our time blends down, Taskmaster can look at something done once and do it.
No watch shot
expertly.
necessary. You can keep it on them.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay. Taskmaster can watch anything done once and be able to approximate it expertly.
Any human ability.
Any human ability.
If you can't take a superpower and do
Right,
it,
right.
but if you are someone who's just highly trained and it took you years to learn this, he can just watch you do it
like
once.
that. So that and a Russian Captain America versus Natasha, that's a badass movie to me.
Yeah. And it's like Natasha and Yelena. It's like the scene with Red Guardian. You see him saying, "Oh, we're back together again, family," to Natasha and Yelena. So it seems like we're gonna get into a deeper dive into the Red Room and everything that happened with their training.
Guys, let us know. We went on quite a journey today from a galaxy a long time ago that was also far away to the past of the MCU with the Black Widow. Let us know in the comments what you're the most excited about. I'm going to... Dan, what are you the most excited about?
In general?
Yeah.
The undiscovered country, the future.
I like that.
That movie came out in 1991. You don't even have to wait for it.
I know. And also, that was not the future. But that's fine.
Ed Greer?
Klingons, they don't quite know what's going on.
Ed Greer, what's got you going?
Oh, and this fandom? Yeah, well, I think I geeked out enough about Taskmaster for people to understand. Taskmaster and the stunt team, the Chad Stahelski stunt team that I'm requesting to be down with Black Panther. Those are the two things I'm excited about.
Eric Goldman, you were there in the trenches.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I get the trepidation, but we're just gonna go back to Star Wars. I got the freaking tattoo, so yeah, that footage got me really pumped. I mean, and this was on top of the Mandalorian, which I know you guys already talked about on Friday, which looks amazing. So,
let me ask you this real quick. You were there, like, from the crowds. Like, what got like the biggest crowd reaction from this stuff?
Oh man. Probably those two Star Wars pieces of footage, just because they had more to show. You know, it's like the Marvel stuff. It's funny. Like I said, they showed Black Widow stuff we'd already seen. They didn't have Eternals footage to show, and all the Disney Plus stuff. It's really exciting, but again, nothing's been shot. You know, so it's like they didn't have that. Wow, never seen anything like that. Of course, the biggest reaction might have been to, like, you know, Frozen 2, the cast all singing the song together, and you're like, oh my god,
right on
together. But yeah, I think the Mandalorian trailer and the Episode 9 footage.
I am very excited about a full Stark family reunion on the show Encore. That's our show, guys. Make sure you check out our bonus SJU from Friday afternoon. Make sure you check out Charting with Dan later today.
And just let them know that if we haven't talked about something yet, we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about everything. There was so much, and
stuff.
believe me, we're going to squeeze every bit of juice out of this week, so we can get your sweet clicks. Give us your clicks. Good. Bye, guys.